I'm in a big mood, call I feel you. Something wake up cool in my body, tell me will you do? I'm in a big mood.
People, welcome back to my channel. My name is Titilayo, and if this is your first time seeing me on your screen or stopping by on my channel, it is very nice to meet you or welcome. If this is not your first time, well, you know the drill. A one, a two, you're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome. Welcome back. I hope everyone's having a wonderful, beautiful, fabulous day. Today's video, I'm actually going to be showing you guys my everyday makeup tutorial. I've been doing this look for so long now, like I can actually do it in my sleep. It's that deep. I'm going to be walking you guys through this video, so it's going to be a little detailed and maybe a little longer than you would expect, but definitely I walked you through everything on how I did my foundation, my highlighting, my brows, every single thing. And so if you would like to see how I achieved this look, then please make sure to keep on watching. Alright guys, so I'm starting off with a freshly washed face. One thing you definitely do not want is to put makeup on skin that isn't clean. I also toned and moisturized off camera. If you want to see a video on how I do my skincare routine, I'll leave a link to that on top somewhere so you can access that. I'm going to be moving on to priming. The first one I use is this Omolewa High Definition Primer. This is a pore and fine line minimizer primer, and for someone like me who has textured skin or like really large pores, I like to use primers that work to minimize my pores, just because I don't like the look of that, you know, on my face after my makeup is done. It just doesn't make it look as flawless, and this literally gives like almost like a blur effect. Like it's almost like a filter. I just like to put this all around my face. I'm going to be going in with this primer. It's also from Omolewa Cosmetics, and this is their instant mattifier primer. I actually just received this recently and I've been loving it. So it gives no shine, it gives you a lot of oil control, and it's very long lasting. I just usually take about a dot of that, just about there, just like one pump, and I only apply this to the areas of my face that get really oily, which usually will be around my T-zone. So I apply this like just right here on my cheekbones. I usually take it on my forehead too. My forehead doesn't get super oily, but I find that like even the slightest of shine on the forehead just makes it look really annoying. So I always try to just make sure I keep that place matte. I'm applying this all around my nose because she's so oily, oh god. And also just above my lips there. So pretty much my T-zone area and like the areas I would usually highlight are the areas that I like to apply this. I also put just a bit of that like on my brow bone, just because I feel like my brow bone does get oily too. One thing I like to do just to finish up the priming portion is to actually set my primer. Now this is a trick that I started doing just a couple of years back and seems to have been working with helping me make sure my foundation stays on, or like my base stays on a long time. The Fit Me loose finishing powder, and I'm taking the one in 40 dark. It's a little too red for me, so I always try to make sure I'm going very sparingly with this. And I'm just taking like a dense powder brush, and what I'm going to do with that is I'm actually going to use that to just set my primer. Now what this does is it actually locks the primer in, but it also gives your skin a bit of a fresh, like a dry base to start with, and that's usually good if you want more of a mattifying look. So I'm just gonna do that. You can also go in with, I believe you can go in with a powder puff for this, but I like to use a dense powder brush because I think it packs in a lot of products without also being like too much, if that makes sense. So I'm just packing this. I'm really focusing the powder on the areas of my face that I find get really oily, so those areas where I apply that matte powder, but I'm also just kind of dusting this around my entire face so I have a bit of like an even base color all around. Now with foundation, I really stuck onto this whole trend of doing your contour and your highlight before your foundation, and I like it for two reasons, especially the highlighting part. I find that one, I don't use a whole lot of product when I'm doing my, especially like my concealer under my eyes. When I'm doing my highlighting before I apply my foundation, I use like a tiny portion of product like I would have used if I was doing it after the fact. And two, I also find that because I have a lot of creases under my eyes, it really helps to highlight first, because I end up not being able to like put any product in my eyes except the concealer. So it's almost like a win-win, because one of the ways to kind of stop your eyes from creasing too much with your foundation is to make sure there's no foundation there. So right now I don't have any foundation there, and I'm actually going to be going in with my Juvia's Place concealer. This is the I Am Magic concealer. This is in the number 7. I apply it just like right there in the crux of my eye, and then I take that line and just like go up. I shape my concealer so that like my face goes up, and you'll notice that as a trend with anything I'm applying today too, it's like I want my cheekbones and I want my face to have that illusion of it going up. I'm gonna do the side of my nose just like right there, but that's pretty much it, like nothing else. The bridge of my nose, of course, you can make this line as thin as you want to help with your nose contour. I just usually like to do the general bridge of my nose just to give me a more natural look. I'm gonna do the fan method for my forehead, and then my chin, and my mouth area. For contour, I'm going to be using this foundation stick from Juvia's Place, and this is a foundation stick in the shade Congo. I just like to again apply that on my cheekbones. So if you're not really sure where your cheekbones are, you can do like the fish face, and then just at the base there, like you can feel your cheekbones. So I like to apply this a little bit above and blend it down. So that's where my cheekbones are, but I'm going to apply it just like right there. And again, as you can see, I'm going up with that. I'm going to apply this on my forehead as well. You want to make a number 3, so I'm also going to apply these on my jawline. Very last thing I've been into lately, and you can feel free to skip this if you're not really into blushes, but I've been really into like using a red color or a blush for my cheekbones. I find that when I apply that before, also like in this initial stage before my foundation, it really gives that like nice blurred out, like, you know, picture ready look. And I haven't really settled on an actual like, I guess, cream blush that works for me. What I've been doing lately is I've actually been going in just with like a regular red lipstick, and this particular one that I'll be using today is from Juvia's Place as well. It's called Scarlet, and what I do with that is I take just like a dot of that, like really that much, and I apply this with like a brush just around my cheekbones. So I'm going to use this for both sides of my face as well. And what I do is I just apply like directly above where I put my contour. So I'm going to be taking a damp beauty blender. The one I'm using is from Fast Beauty here in Halifax, the local brand, and you know, support Black owned local businesses. So I'm going to leave the Instagram page where you can order this off of. I really like this because it has like that dome side, but also has like a nice flat side that you can use just to apply powders, and the bottom side obviously stays the same. So I'm taking like the dome side at the top to blend in my concealer, my highlighting concealer. So at this point, I'm actually going to blend out my contour as well. So I'm going to start from my jawbone, and I'm just taking like this brush, my angled brush, and blending that down. So you want to blend your contour down. And for this one, I'm actually going to blend, like, you know, my cheekbones, like I said, you can also even see it almost like this dark spot here. That's where my cheekbones are. And so I put it a lot up so I can, like, you know, when I'm blending, it can actually calm down a little bit. So just gonna do that. I'm also going to take the same contour brush and just use that to kind of start blending out that red lipstick. So because this is a matte lipstick, it's already like drying off a little bit, so you might need to work a little harder to blend that out. Focusing the blush just like right on my cheekbones, right on the apples of my cheeks right here. And again, I'm just like maintaining that angle as well. So for the side of my nose, I'm gonna take the like flat part of that beauty blender and actually just like focus that on the sides of my nose first. And it's almost like I'm making a straight line. And then I'm just gonna drag that all the way down and blend. Okay, so here's what I'm working with. Like, I could almost get away without using my foundation, and this is really what I do when I'm doing like a no foundation makeup look. But just because I have been mentioning foundation all throughout this entire video, and just for the purposes of this video as well, I'm going to be going in with my foundation. The foundation I'm going to be using today, again, is from Juvia's Place, and this is the I Am Magic Velvetty Matte Foundation. I'm using the shade 130 Mali. And literally I only take like about that much. I like to warm it up a little bit first on my hand, just so that it actually goes on a lot better. And then I'm actually going to start just like dabbing that on the areas of my face that I didn't apply any product. You can also go in with a brush, but I just prefer to stick with my beauty blender for this particular foundation too. So what I'm doing is I'm just blending out that area underneath my cheekbones. This will also kind of help to control that contour as well. Like if there was any spilling further than it should have, this will help keep that in check. So that's what we're working with. And as you can see, everything's like super toned down, but there's still dimensions to the face. That's the look we're going for. It's time to go in with my setting powders, and usually I've been loving my Laura Mercier translucent setting powder, but I just ran out of that, so I'm actually going to be going in with my Fit Me powder. And this is again just like the first one I applied to set my primer, but this one's in light medium number 20. I'm not going to be going in like with a lot of the powder, and I'm not going to be baking as much. I'm just going to be pressing this powder directly into my skin. As much as possible, you want to try and maintain that, like, you know, shape, the one going up. So I do like a straight line just on the sides of my nose and then slant it up. I'm just going to apply that to the other areas of my face that I highlighted. I'm just going to use like that sharp end for my nose just to give me a thinner line. I'm now gonna go into my brows. Now my brows are like literally one of the easiest things I do on my face. I don't do a lot, you know, I don't have a lot of technique when it comes to doing my brows. So what I do is I just take a spoolie and I just brush up the hairs. One thing that really helps me with my brows as well is that I always keep them like pretty groomed. So I already went and kind of like shaping my brows this morning. And so by doing that, I find that whenever I need to do my brows while I'm doing my makeup, I tend not to waste a lot of time and spend a lot of time because they're pretty groomed as they are. So for the longest time, I've been using this Kat Von D long wear pomade, and this is their dark one. It's called Walnut. So you want to use like a thin angled brush as well. And I just take like a lot of the product, and what I do is I actually just like blend that out on my hand first. So I would take that just like right there, and while I'm doing that, I do that on both sides, and it also kind of helps me to like slim out the brush, making it possible to do like super fine lines. I'm gonna take the angle and go and draw like just like one line going all the way across on the bottom. Now you want to keep this as thin as possible. That's just on the bottom, directly underneath the brow hairs. I'm gonna do the same line, but on the top I'm gonna do it like halfway in. So I'm gonna start just like right around there and just do it to connect on the bottom. So you want to be mindful of your natural arch as well. If your brows are shaping like mine, like that would be really obvious, but if not, then you can just like, I guess, make an arch that you would like, but just be careful so it's not like too high. So I'm just taking that and going all the way across and joining it like right at the bottom. So I'm gonna go in again with that spoolie, and I'm actually just going to like brush out those lines. So for the one on the bottom, I'm brushing that up, and for the one on the top, I'm brushing it down. And what this is going to do is like it's actually going to blend out those lines to make them not as dark and like, you know, almost look really natural. So make sure you're blending the one from the bottom, from the start of your brows too, because you did apply it from the start of the brows. I'm going to go in with the same concealer I used to highlight my face from Juvia's Place, and I'm going to use this to clean up my brows. I clean up my brows in a funny way too, so I'm using that number 7 one as well as number 4. So you see how I use these, but they're the same concealer, it's just one's darker, number 4 is darker. That's number 4. To clean up my brows, I'm going in with a, you know, it's a small brush that has a bit of like a dome head. I'm going to go in first with number 7, and starting from the center of my brows, I'm going to start making pretty much a line that goes across. For number 4, which is the darker one, that's what I'm actually going to use on the inner corners of my eye. As you can see, like it gives a more blended look when you use a darker color. You can also go in with your foundation. That's a good thing to do too on that portion, so that it actually blends in well and the only highlighted place is actually the arch of your brow. When I'm blending out that foundation in the front, number 4, I like to drag that forward to my nose, and so I just drag that way. And so what that does is it actually gives my nose like that contoured look. So it's one of the steps I take towards like contouring my nose. I'm going with my face powder to just kind of dust off that excess powder. And I'm just using, it's a powder brush as well, but this is this is like not as dense as the last one. And I'm just brushing. The bronzer I'm actually going to be using today is from Raine, and this is their Mocha Queen bronzer. I'm going to take that and focus that on the areas that I contoured. I'm going to follow that line through from my brows that I made when I was blending out the brow concealer with my powder brush. Think about your powder almost like a filter that you put on top of everything, just to give it like a more eased in, like a more faded look almost. Today for blush, I'm going to be going in with my Omolewa Eye Face palette, and I'm going to be taking that blush color right there. And one thing I like to do, I also like to maintain that, again, going up look. It makes your face look a lot chiseled. It's all about the chisel, okay? Not the hammer, the chisel. And so I'm gonna take that right up. This brush is so good because it's already like a dome brush, so it really helps with just like applying that product while blending it out. Like, can you see that? Like, do you see that blend? Oh wow, this is so gorgeous. One thing I also didn't do today is I didn't use eyeshadow. So whenever I'm not using eyeshadow, like there's a few steps I like to do on my eyes just to kind of still make it look really nice. And so what I do is I take my darkest concealer that I use, so number 4, and I just apply this like very sparingly all over. and this just gives my eye like an even base. So I'm also going to go in with my Mocha bronzer, my Mocha Queen bronzer, and I'm going to take like a blending brush and just apply this to my crease. So again, it looks like skin but better. And I'm gonna go in with my blush color and use that to kind of blend that bronzer on my eye to the top. Again, because I have this blush color on my face, it's gonna just look so natural, almost like it's a part of my skin. So for my mobile lid, I'm going to go in with my actual powder, and I'm just going to apply that there, but I'm also going to just like blend this into that bronzer shade. I'm going to be using the Essence Liquid Ink Eyeliner, say that back 3 times, and I'm just going to be giving myself a little wing with this one. Alright guys, so I'm gonna go in and apply some mascara. So I went ahead to apply my lashes off camera, and the lashes I used today are my all-time favorite lashes, and these are from Isabel Merchant. They're called Kiki. And so I just applied them. I've actually used this spray like a couple of times now, but I always have backup or come back up because I love these lashes. I'm gonna go in now to just highlight my face a little bit. I like to keep things very subtle, so I'm going in with my favorite highlighter. This has been like a staple with me for a long time. It's my Milani Baked Bronzer, and I think this is actually discontinued now. So I'm just gonna be taking like a fluffy brush and just applying that. I usually like to just apply this on top of my blush, honestly, because it gives my blush like something to kind of work with, but then it also stays super subtle that way. And I'll just take that a little bit above and put that on the highest point of my cheekbone as well. But I usually start from my blush up. I will take that and apply that on my Cupid's bow. Gorgeous. And then taking a smaller brush, I'm going to use that to highlight the inner corners of my eye. And again, I'm just using the same highlighter. And I blend that upwards a little bit. And I'm just going to take that on my nose as well. And just bring that down the bridge. So at this point, like, I'm done with my makeup and it's just now a matter of setting my face. So usually I would have gone in with like a dewy setting spray, just because I've used a lot of mattifying products and powders just to kind of bring back a little life to my face. I would have gone in with a dewy setting spray, and I've been using the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip setting spray. And that's a good option to use, but I recently received the Fix Plus setting spray with the gold flexes. This is the gold lights from MAC in a PR box that I got from MAC, and so I've actually enjoyed using this because it's pretty much like, you know, the MAC Fix Plus, which is dewy, but then this also has like a bit of gold flexes in it to help even highlight your skin a lot more. So I'm just gonna take that, I'm shaking that up just to make sure I don't have like any gold particles just sitting there, and then I'm going to just spray this down. Alright, and as you know, I like to take a bath in my setting spray all the time, and I'm just going to fan that down just to make sure it dries evenly. So for lips, I'm going to be going in with one of my favorite, you know, nude brown nude combos of all time. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a random brown lip liner. This one's from, I believe it was Wet and Wild. A lot of the things, like, you know, taken off, but I'm just gonna take this and like line my lips. I'm going to be going in with this lipstick. So it's a super dark lipstick. It's a dark brown, and this is from Classic Makeup. I actually got this from Nigeria. I'm going to put this directly around the lip liner I just added. And again, since I'm using this as a lip liner as well, I'm not going to be like putting this all over the place. I'm gonna go in with this lip gloss. Juvia's, like, what is it? I don't know. This is also from Juvia's Place, and this is their caramel rose lip gloss. I'm just gonna take that and apply that directly into the center. So this is a really colored lip gloss, so it's gonna double up as almost like a lipstick as well. And I'm just gonna blend that in. I tend to not use a lot. Can you guys see that? I don't use a lot of this gloss just because it's super colored, so like that little I used is really enough. So because I like my gloss like a little more glossy, but that gloss is too colored, so I can't use it, I'm going to be going in just with this e.l.f. lip plumping gloss, and this is in the shade Champagne Glam, and I'm just going to be applying this all over my lips, especially in the center. So here's the finished look. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, like, share, comment. If you haven't already subscribed at this point, like, what's up? Subscribe to my channel, and for more looks like this one and to give suggestions on what kind of looks you'd like to see, either leave that in the comment section or follow me on Instagram where you can see more of my work. And I look forward to see you guys in my next video, God willing. Stay blessed.